Alright, so I'm going to be doing a review on Luke Skywalker's X-Wing. So, this set released in 2021 for a retail price of $50 and retired in December of 2023. But you can still find one new sealed in the box for about the retail price. And this has set number 75301, 474 pieces, 4 minifigures, and an age rating of 9+. Our first figure is this Pilot Luke Skywalker. And, I mean, it's a fine figure. It's nothing special, really. He does have a decent print on his torso and legs, which is nice. And I do like how the print on his torso extends down to his waist. I do like it when LEGO does that. And he has a decent back print and some pretty good at printing on his helmet. And his face print also isn't anything special. And this is his second face. And plus, there is a far better Pilot Luke Skywalker out. In the set, we also get a General Dodonna. And it's a pretty good figure. He is not exclusive. He appeared in the Yavin 4 Rebel base. But, I mean, it's a fine figure. He does use the same hairpiece as Doc Brown, which I still find pretty funny. His face print is fine. It's just a bit more of a stern or maybe worried expression. And he does have a pretty good second face. And I do like the print on his torso and legs. I think it looks pretty good. And I'm pretty sure that is supposed to be some sort of rank. And this is his back print. It's nothing special. We also get this Princess Leia. And it also is a pretty good figure. She does use this very nice skirt piece, which I always like this piece. And the print on her torso does look very good, actually. And she does have a very detailed back print. And this very nice hairpiece. And this is her second face. And finally, we get this R2-D2. And also, fine figure, this particular R2-D2 is very common. And the main issue with most R2-D2s is that a lot of times, the whole print for his dome can be pretty slanted, as you can see. And plus, the figure does not have a back print, and that's a pretty big downside. But the print on his torso is decent, I guess. Overall, this is a fine minifigure selection, I guess. As you can see, I didn't really talk too much about them, and that's just because there's not really too much to talk about the figures, really. None of them are exclusive, and they're all just pretty basic figures. None of them are really that interesting or exciting. None of them are particularly bad, they just aren't really that exciting. So I kind of wish that this set actually had some sort of unique exclusive figure. Originally, it did have the General Dodonna, but he was recently released in the Yavin 4 Rebel base. But now, let's talk about the actual build. Overall, this is a pretty good X-Wing. First up, the wings do look pretty good, but those are stickers. Sadly, essentially all of the detailing in the set is stickers, except the windshields, but everything else is sadly not a print. But the stickers don't look too bad on the wings. I do at least kind of wish that a couple of them were prints, but I mean, they don't look too bad. And the engines, all of them also do look pretty good, but I kind of wish that they actually added some sort of detailing actually in here. I think that would have really made the build a lot better. And there is a nice little sticker piece right there. Or, I mean, at least it looks fine. And the same detailing is on the other wing, but there's actually a different sticker for this engine. And at the back, there is the very nice engines. And the engines actually do look pretty good. I do especially like the pink thrusters. I think that looks very good, actually. And the detailing on the end of the X-Wing looks pretty good. Also, the underside of the wings were not detailed, but there are spring-loaded shooters. And we all know how those work. You just push down, but because these ones are actually upside down, you have to push up. And I would say that the red sticking out could be pretty distracting. And the actual little blasters on the ends of the wings do look very good, actually. I think that LEGO did a pretty good job on those. And over here, near the main body, they do use some of those car hood pieces, and they do also have stickers. And at the top, there is this whole little blob of Technic parts. That whole mechanism is actually for the wings to open. And unlike most X-Wings that use rubber mechanisms, this one doesn't use any sort of rubber bands at all. It's all Technic, but a downside is that the Technic could be very tedious to build and pretty confusing at times. And the way it works is pretty simple. All you do is you push down on the top and then the wings open up. They don't open up too much, but I think just enough. And I mean, the whole feature does work pretty well. I do like how they didn't use any sort of rubber bands because the rubber bands can wear a lot over time. So the whole mechanism of the actual wings did work pretty well. The set does actually have some very nice landing gear. They do use some of those more ski pieces, which I do like. But one issue I have is that you can't retract the landing gear at all. So I kind of wish that they had some sort of ability to retract it into the ship, or at least take it off. Easily, at least. But the spot where you put R2-D2, I feel like could have been done just a bit better. And that's just because when you actually put him in there, I feel like he sticks out way too much. Because normally, only his head is supposed to actually stick out of the spot where it goes. So I feel like that doesn't look the best. And there is also some nice detailing right there. And this whole front part of the X-Wing does actually look pretty good. They did use some of those little hinge pieces to actually have it narrow down more at the end, which I definitely do like that. I think that actually makes the whole thing look very good. Also, the end normally on most X-Wings is bigger at the end, but this one is smaller, which is actually more accurate, and I think it looks better. And they do use another little sticker piece right there, and they do have some red detailing on the sides. And you, of course, can open up the cockpit, which the whole cockpit doesn't look pretty bad, actually. I do definitely appreciate how it's all prints. And you can, of course, open it up. And there's not too much detail in there. They do use this extremely common Star Wars control panel, which I kind of wish that it was a more unique print or sticker or just something like that. And you can, of course, grab your Luke Skywalker and put him in just like that. Sorry, it's very hard to do that one-handed. And you can close it up. And he doesn't look too bad, actually. I think he looks pretty good. I mean, overall, this is actually a pretty good X-Wing. It's definitely a bit downscaled compared to the last X-Wings. But I do like having a smaller X-Wing for a cheaper price. And plus, even though that the set is downscaled, it doesn't actually subtract from the build at all. It still looks like a normal X-Wing, and you can't really tell that it is significantly downscaled, which I do definitely appreciate. And while LEGO did make a newer X-Wing relatively recently, that one does come in a 2-in-1 pack with a TIE Fighter. And while the X-Wing doesn't look bad in that set, I just personally feel like this X-Wing just looks better. So if you don't have an X-Wing, this one is not a bad option. So overall, I'll give the set about an 8 out of 10.